Okay, welcome back from a late lunch that we took. We are going to come back to, I think we left off with department item number 1, office management budget items which require board approval. Ms. Manning.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Jennifer Manning, OMB Director. I have 9 items on the agenda today. The first item is permission to apply for the FY22 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistant Grant on behalf of the sheriffs. And the amount is to be determined. And the funds will be used for to offset costs for the Special Victims Unit. Second item is permission to apply for, to the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation for the Coastal Resilience Funds, and that those funds will be used to construct a hybrid live-in shoreline at Indian Riverside Park. The grant funds would be $1.5 million, will require a match of $1.9 million, which will be a federal FDEP grant through the Resilient Florida implementation, which is currently pending. The third item is permission to accept the Inner River Lagoon National Estuaries Grant Funding Water Quality Restoration Grant. Those grant funds will be used to construct new force mains to make connections available to 382 residential units in Rio East and Crossroads Hills. The grant amount is $200,000. The matching dollars is $640,000, which is programmed in the FY23 CIP sheet. The next few items are other OMB item, and the first item in that category is permission to approve a budget resolution to allocate funding for the substance abuse treatment program. The funds are coming from the 19th Judicial Court, which is $41,280, and that will provide drug testing kits. Item number 5 is adjustment to the fiscal year budget to align our expenditures with our revenues. The first one is a very good one. It's for Sailfish Splash. They're over collecting for FY22. We're estimating another $250,000 over collection of the budgeted amount, and we would like to allocate those funds for the revenues and expenditures. Sixth item is a resolution and a CIP modification. And so the Utilities Department is requesting a resolution to allocate additional revenues to their Connect to Protect program. They are anticipating an additional $500,000, and they would like to amend their CIP sheet to add additional Connect to Protect programs. Item number 7 is an approval of a resolution to recognize additional revenues collected from the sales of recyclable materials. And that is approximately $480,000. Item number 8 is an approval of a resolution to allocate insurance proceeds to replace an excavator that was damaged at the landfill fire. The final item is a budget resolution to redistribute the grant cost share for the Beach Road grant, CR 707 Road. And that concludes my presentation.
Jennifer, thank you very much. Any questions?
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Anybody from the public wish to comment on this? Seeing none, back to the board. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. You don't look like Christy,
I'm not Christy.
but come on down. Next item on the agenda is department item number 2, contracts that meet the threshold for board approval of $1 million or greater.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tasha Sapp, Senior Purchasing Agent. I have 4 items for your consideration. First would be our painting services. It is a continuing services. Maximum not to exceed value is $1.5 million with a not to exceed term of 5 years. Staff recommends that the board award the contract to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder 512 Painting and Remodeling LLC, and move that the board authorize the county administrator or designee to execute any and all documents related to this request.
Can I ask to interrupt?
Yeah.
Do you know if this is our current painter?
It is not. This is a new painter.
Thanks.
They are out of St. Cloud.
Minnesota?
No, Florida.
I'd say that's a trip.
No, our current is Wells Brothers, I believe.
They do a terrific job.
Not anymore.
And then, so our second one is North Water Treatment Plant Feed Water Pump and VFD Replacement. Staff recommends that the board award the contract to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, Lawrence Lee Construction Services, in the amount of $1.207 million, and move that the board approve a CIP modification to increase the north feed pump CIP sheet by $128,986. Move that the board approve a budget transfer from sand filters to north feed pump CIP project in the amount of $128,986. Move that the board authorize the county administrator or designee to execute any and all documents related to this request. My third one is landscape maintenance for utilities and solid waste facilities. This is another continuing services with a maximum not to exceed value of 1.2 million with a maximum not to exceed term of 5 years. Staff recommends that the board award the contract to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, Treasure Coast Land and Landscaping, Inc., and move that the board authorize the county administrator or designee to execute any and all documents related to this request. And lastly, we have the East Fork Creek Stormwater Treatment Area, STA. The staff recommends that the board award the contract to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, J.W. Cheatham, LLC, in the amount of $3,304,312.50. Move that the board approve the CIP revision to fund the project, and that the board authorize the county administrator or designee to execute any and all documents related to this request. That's it for me.
All you got?
That's all I got.
Okay.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Anybody from the public? Seeing none, back to the board. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All is opposed?
Thank you.
Motion carries unanimously. Okay, that brings us to the end of the meeting. You guys have anything over there?
I do.
I was going to come to you eventually.
So
Yes, sir.
I have a, where did John go? Anyway, I have a thing I'm working with the Pine School right now. So I need board approval for staff to proceed with a negotiation with the Pine School. A little background, the Pine School has, they own the actual Banner Lake in the Banner Lake community. It is a catastrophic disaster. For them to satisfy their requirement, it's tied to their CO of their gymnasium. What would be required of them is to basically nuke the whole lake, which is something our environmental guys are saying is not the way to do it. So we've have an agreement with them at this point, not formalized, that's what we're asking, to be able to formalize this agreement, that they would treat the periphery of the lake with the proper chemicals to control the invasives, and that they would fund a study of the lake hydrology and determine the historic flow. We have a current study going on right now with the eastern flowway and all of that area anyhow, which is, and this will tie into that, so we can determine what it's going to take to restore the lake back to an actual lake. It may be something in the future where the Pine School actually turns that property over to the county so we can get grants to be able to restore it. But I need, Sarah could probably straighten this out now that I've fumbled through this, but I need direction to allow staff to proceed with,
Sarah Woods, County Attorney, just if it's all right for me to proceed. The request was to authorize the County Attorney's Office in connection with Commissioner Jenkins as well as Public Works to work out it's really just a kind of it is a memorandum of understanding that would kind of outline what Commissioner Jenkins talking about what the parties may intend to do from going forward. It really wouldn't be binding, but it would outline what our discussions have been up to this point and would put into writing the Pine Schools agreement that they're thinking about conveying us, and I see Ms. Elder here because she's worked on it as well, conveying to us Banner Lake, which would allow that to then become public access, but also preserving the right of the Pine School to use part of Banner Lake for their activity. So it's really kind of an agreement to agree and set forth, and we just were in the interest of time, and also because it's, as I say, just really kind of a codification of what the discussions have been for us to go ahead and get that done. The county administrator be authorized to go ahead and sign it. But again, it's not a binding document. It's just kind of an outline. Yes.
Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
Is the Pine School amenable to deeding over the pond to us?
yes.
Why don't we just move to that step?
Because we don't know that we want it. So the whole point of the study.
You know, I get it.
So they're going to fund this $57,000 study. They're doing 20 some odd thousand dollars worth of mediation work around the periphery of the lake. So that satisfies their obligation so they can get their CO on the new gymnasium, which they need by the 11th, so the students can get there on the 18th. Then once the study is done and our staff analyzes it, then we can determine, so in the agreement, it will say if it is in the benefit of the community and the Pine School and the county to deed the property to the county, that's what they'll do.
Okay, and so there's no other, Sarah, there's no other way, or because of the connection to their gymnasium in their permit, I guess is really what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
There's no way to bifurcate those two somehow with the idea that if the study show, I'm just, when it comes to like a school, I'm thinking I would rather take that 50,000 they're going to spend on this and spend it on the kids in the school. And if we're going to take it over and we're going to get grants and
So they've already agreed to, so Elise kind of made it perfectly clear that they, in their development order, they have a responsibility to do. So whatever we agree has to be equal to something. So that is funding the study and doing the little bit of work around it is the trade-off for that. And then,
I was trying to be helpful, that's all.
yeah,
I just, if we're going to end up taking it over someday, and it's going to be our responsibility, I'm like, okay, let's just make that decision if that's the decision.
First of all, we don't know that we are because we need the study. And second of all, we would never take over the responsibility for Banner Lake without bringing that back to the Board of County Commissioners for approval. This is an outline of what we've tentatively agreed to.
That's why we're having the
Dependent upon the study, yes, but
heard of this, so I'm asking questions because
sure.
if, I'm sure you must have talked about all these different things. I'm not privy to that, so I don't know. And my gut feeling tells me, let's just go to item C, which is
Sure.
us taking it, but if y'all have worked this out, that's fine.
I think in the looking out for the taxpayer, we need to know what we're getting ourselves into, right?
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay. Great, super. I'm supportive. Go forward. You want a motion for that?
I need a motion, yes.
I'd like to make a motion to direct staff to finalize an agreement with the Pine School with language with what we just had a conversation about.
Second.
Great. We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All is opposed, motion carries unanimously.
Go Knights.
Okay, that was it?
That's it.
Okay, Commissioner Heatherington?
I'm all set.
Commissioner Campy?
I'm all set.
Set.
Don? Sarah? I'm all set. We are adjourned. Oh, I'm sorry. Do we have anybody from the public? No, we do not. Now we're adjourned. Sorry.